Hello, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the method I use for replacing the link coupler pins when you have a car such as this where the couplers are kind of stiff. And we all know the reason why they get stiff. It's because of that weight material that forms on top of the couplers as a result of the mold releases they used back in the 1940s and 1950s. So a couple of tools here are used to accomplish this. First off is the backing block, which I purchased from Port Lines. I'm sure a lot of us have purchased a lot of things from Port Lines over the years. The other tool is the link pin removal tool. And the other item is the link pin installation tool. This is the one from Port Lines. If you notice though, the hole inside of it is rather large. In fact, way too large for the pin of the coupler. And I found that in using this tool, it tends to distort the coupler, and in fact actually destroys the truck. What I've done is I've taken some punches here that I purchased at Harbor Freight and drilled a hole in there slightly larger than the pin itself, and then used a Dremel cutoff tool to put an X across there to allow the switching process. The first step is going to be the removal of the coupler. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this end of the backing block, which has the two holes in it. The larger hole is the weight, and the smaller hole is where the pin will come out when we drive it out. So we're going to place this over top here. And then I'm just going to use a couple of small blocks of wood to hold the car up in place. Now we're going to place the removal tool over top of the pin, like that. And then we're just going to give it a couple of whacks with a ball peen hammer, and then the pin should come right out. And there, after a couple of whacks with the ball peen hammer, you can see the car is now separated from the coupler. And as you can see, it's rather stiff. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go over to my other workbench. I'm just going to bore a larger hole using a 13/64 inch twist drill bit in my handheld drill. Back in a couple seconds. Okay, and we're back. Just reamed out that hole in the coupler a little better. And as you can see now, when I put the pin in there, it moves a lot better. Also, while I was off camera, I also took the liberty of using a hot air dryer, hot air from a hair dryer, and cleaned up all that white residue on there and cleaned it up with some dishwash detergent and a toothbrush. So what I'm going to do right now is, because there are still some ridges left on there from when when the pin of the coupler was originally installed, I'm just going to grab that in a pair of long nose pliers, use my Dremel tool, and just kind of get rid of some of those ridges there so it reinstalls back in the hole. And just a little bit of a deburring process there, if you will. And then we'll test that to see how well it fits. Okay, I took off some of the burrs there on the original pin, and we're going to reassemble everything now so that we can reinstall the coupler. Taking careful attention as to which way the pin goes in. And there we've reassembled the pin and coupler onto the truck. Using this small hole on the backing plate, we're going to insert the pin into that small hole. So that we can drive the pin through the truck. That's why I just use a regular pin punch to go in there and push that one through. Make sure it's fully seated. Just a couple of light taps. Now it appears as if the pin is fully seated, but probably best just to come back and use the single hole on the backing plate to go ahead and just re-swedge that pin there to make sure that it is fully seated down there. So we're going to put that back together, and then using a couple blocks to hold the coupler in place, or hold the car rather in place. I'm going to be using the pin installation tool, placing it over top of the pin. Give it a couple of whacks with the ball peen hammer. Twisting the tool off. And now you can see the coupler is nice and free, and it's on there securely, and we were able to reuse all the old parts. Hope my little video here has been of information value for everyone. And if you have any questions, of course, you always know where to find me on our Facebook American Flyer page.